Hey guys, what's up? It's Eran Thomson here, back with another creative portfolio review. If you would like to have your portfolio reviewed, head on over to eranthomson.com/reviews and share your URL, and we will get stuck into it. What you're about to see is a Bronze Boomerang review. This is the free 10-minute review. Before we start, I just want to share with you that over the course of my career, I've looked at thousands of portfolios and helped hire hundreds of creative professionals just like you. I'm absolutely confident that I can help you create a perfectly crafted portfolio that gives you the best chance of taking your career where you want it to go. I will share with you some of the things that can make or break your portfolio. I'll point out possible blind spots and help you transform your work with ideas, suggestions, and feedback that can be the difference between getting hired or getting dismissed. You might not agree with everything I say, and that's totally okay. Just know that I am responding to your work in real time, the way that a recruiter or a CD might. And if things aren't clear to me, then they probably aren't clear to them. And if they're not well crafted, you could be dismissed. Also, I don't have to like everything in your book. Nobody probably will. But if everything is well executed, easy to understand, and easy to navigate, you vastly improve your hireability and chances for success in an already very competitive field. This free Bronze Boomerang review is very top level, but more importantly, it's a one-way conversation. So if you're watching this and you feel like you want to explain your choices or your ideas or your work, then I invite you to upgrade for a more detailed and collaborative response that will make you and your portfolio even more valuable. The gold goal, silver skillet, and titanium torch options are the best way forward, and each of them offers even more expertise and insights to help you transform your portfolio into a guaranteed gig getter. And if you want to understand why I'm even doing this or discover more about me, check the FAQ on this same page. Okay, and so now, without further ado, let's get stuck in. Today's portfolio is from Nick Schaefer. He's a copywriter, and we're going to take a look at his work right now. Cool. So one of the things I like, before I forget, we are going to start the countdown. This is a Bronze Boomerang, so you get 10 minutes with me. All right, here we go. Let's have a look. So the first thing I notice about Nick's portfolio is that I love is the simplicity of this landing page. He hasn't overwhelmed me with a ton of words, which is saying something for a copywriter. He's given me intriguing, interesting images to look at. If I hover over them, they tell me who the brand is, although some of the hover effects could work better than others. Like this Kellogg's one, the text is so light, that font where it says LiftMaster here, you can barely see it when I roll over this one, which is Outward Bound. Instax, Fujifilm, Ace Hardware, Solo. So I like the simplicity. I like he's got 6 things that hopefully what I'm going to see here are 6 incredible things. Less is always more in a portfolio. And if he's already figured that out, then he's already one step ahead of the rest, because there's a tendency to want to put everything in your portfolio and overload the viewer with too many things, too much information, when really they just want to skim and see how you think, see if you understand what great work is, see how you write, see if you understand ideas. And so the fact that you've chosen to only show 6 things either means you only have 6 things or you've just done a really tight edit. I'm hoping it's the latter. So anyway, back to the simplicity of this. I like it says Nick Schaefer, advertising copywriter, boom, who you are, what you are, without me having to do any heavy thinking. You'd be surprised how many people get that wrong. Over here on the top right, there's me, which we'll click to later, and then work. And this is an interesting choice to make each one of your things a separate menu item. I don't see many people doing that. I think it's an interesting idea. It means that if I wanted to hire you to do something, and the reason I wanted to hire you was because of that awesome Kellogg's campaign I saw, makes it really easy for me to come back here and find it. That said, it already wasn't that hard, so maybe you don't need it. Maybe you can get rid of this drop down and just have About Me, and then it gets even simpler and cleaner because the links to the work are always going to be here, I assume. No footer. So again, that adds to the simplicity and cleanliness of this particular website design, which I like. So cool. All right, let's start with the first one, Kellogg's. Great brand. What a great opportunity to work on a great brand as someone who it seems like is just coming out of school. So good for you. All right. So I see this a lot in portfolios, and that is a tendency to want to explain work and then also explain the strategy and everything that happened around it. And I think it's good to have one or two of these things in your portfolio to demonstrate a well-rounded idea, to demonstrate an idea that's been expanded out into multiple touch points and been used or seen across various types of media. I think that's all really, really good. You just don't want to do it for every single thing in your portfolio. And if you think about like how consumers consume ads, forgive the food pun since we're looking at Kellogg's, but no one sits there in the grocery store aisle and goes, the insight here is that, we're comforting consumers, blah, blah, blah. Like that doesn't happen. And they don't tell you like, by the way, have you seen our shelf talkers? And did you notice the pre-roll on YouTube? Like it just doesn't happen that way. And so I feel like if you have to explain your work, then your work isn't working hard enough. I'll say it again. If you have to explain your work, then your work isn't working hard enough. And here, there is a lot of explanation, right? You're talking about the opportunity to work on this great brand. I agree with that. You talk about how you developed a copy and you created programs. Then number two, you developed more copy for an ad, showing off new products. Then you created copy for a shelf wobbler, for Eggo, and you credit your art director. I think that's nice. You don't see that very often. And your designer too. Good on you for that. That's a nice move, a really nice touch. I wish more people would do that. But then you've got like Battle of the Bowls, an insight, an activation, segments, size of opportunity, and then there's copy down in the lower corner of the box or key art here with a QR code. So that's an FPO, which makes this feel not real. So what if the only thing here was just Battle of the Bowls? Then at least I would know like, okay, that would all my attention would be focused on that. I would see one thing. And then maybe it's like one sentence going, what Battle of the Bowls is a new program I invented for Kellogg's to do X, right? Like, can you get rid of all of this copy and just show me the key art? Now, I know you're a writer, but this particular execution doesn't have very much writing other than a name. So I'm not sure this is showing you off, and I feel like it's a tough entry into the portfolio, right? There's just so much to read, so much to look at, and it makes me I'm concerned. So same for this. Snack it forward, study gear, snack powered rewards, plant forward rewards, emoji crave days, hot ones. I love hot ones. What a great series. K-12 sauce-a-thon. This is, I don't know what this is. It's a lot to read. Here's how we do it. Craving more options. Cool. Okay. Yeah, man, there is a lot to scroll through here. I mean, if you really want to show all this, by the way, this navigation down here kind of reinforces my point along with the previous next that maybe you don't need it in the menu since you're providing me with lots of other ways to access your work. So you could probably tighten up your front page even more by just getting rid of the work menu. Okay, so but there's so much here and so much copy and so much explaining, and I feel like you're hurting yourself because I don't know what to focus on. I don't know what to read first. I don't know what the big ideas are here, right, that I'd potentially be hiring you for. So I feel like this is kind of getting in the way. And also a lot of it's kind of the same. Like was there one thing that you thought was awesome? Could you blow that out? Maybe even do a spec campaign for for example, the hot ones, because that's such a fun, easy thing to do. Unless you really want to do shelf talkers and long form kind of sales copy, then maybe don't show it. Another thing I always tell people is show the work in your portfolio that you want to do, not always necessarily the work that you've done, right? And also, just because you did it, got it made, and got it produced, doesn't mean it has to go in your portfolio. Your portfolio is a showcase for your best stuff, the stuff that you think is wonderful, great, fantastic, smart, clever, funny, brilliant, on brief, strategic, whatever it is that floats your boat, the stuff that makes you smile is the stuff that goes in your book. There's also some tricks here I think you could do to tighten up presentation. Like, okay, I know this is shelf talker and this is the actual art, but just say for the sake of discussion that Lego My Ego, A New Way to Waffle, and Waffle You Waiting For were great headlines. And Breakfast is Served Anywhere, Anytime was an awesome award-winning headline, which I mean, I'm sorry to say, but I don't think they are. It doesn't mean you couldn't try and write some, but let's just say they were. Like, let's say you just wrote 3 of the best, funniest, most clever headlines for Eggo, and they ended up as shelf talkers. Well, what I would do is I would cut off this top bit, right, that blatantly makes it look like a shelf talker, and just make it a square ad. And that suddenly makes it more interesting, more dynamic, and sparks curiosity in the viewer, especially if you're in an interview, right, which is like, oh, these are great headlines. Where did they run? And you can be, oh, we use them as shelf talkers, and and then you can explain. But I feel will get more credibility and more respect if you show them as ads rather than kind of the collateral below the line stuff that doesn't seem like what you really, really, really want to be doing. Oh my God, I'm only down to a minute and a half left, and we're only on the first thing. Okay, let's skip around. I love Outward Bound. I'm a huge fan of their program. So let's have a quick look at this. So again, I don't know if you need all this explanation stuff here. Like, if it's a print ad, which it looks like it is, nobody explains print ads to you when you see them. So I don't know that you need to explain them to me here. Wow. Okay. Again, a lot of stuff. All right. So let's go through these and evaluate these. The sun rises, a new challenge awaits, a man of strength prepares. When all seems to be lost, a hero is born. The beasts of the wild are heard all around. He fights beyond what he thought were his limitations. Scenes of lamentation, a grueling struggle, a hope restored and a battle won. This hero rises above, takes what is his, pushes forward and perseveres. There is no doubt, no giving in. A hero manufactured by the very nature that made him, bound by strength of will. Fight onward, think outward, outward bound. Okay, I've given that my best movie trailer voice. So there's a couple things going on here. First of all, as a copywriter, it pains me to say this, but long copy, and I wouldn't even call this long copy. I would call this medium copy or even short copy, but it just feels long by today's standards. It's got to be so good that nobody can stop reading it. And it's got to be such a great story that people want to keep reading it. And I'm not sure that this does that. And I'm not sure yet what the point is. I get personal challenges and pushing through makes you a better human. I mean, that's what Outward Bound is all about. But I feel like there's a couple things I feel like you could do better here. The first is outside of the story, which I think no matter how good or bad you might think my movie trailer voice is, they could be better and simpler and possibly shorter. Was it Hemingway? There's a famous thing about the world sat at tell a story in 3 words. And it was baby shoes for sale. That's 4 words. I don't know. But that's a sad story, right? If you Google baby shoes short story, you'll find it. Anyway, my point here is shorter is probably better, especially for Outward Bound. I think Outward Bound, people kind of already know what it is. And so there's some things here that are bugging me. The first is that it says fight onward, think outward. So you're using the part of the name of the brand in their tagline, which just feels repetitive and not in necessarily a great way. And the other part is the fight that Outward Bound helps people with is an inward fight. They're all about helping people get over their internal blocks, their limiting beliefs, their fears and anxieties, finding self-confidence. It's not about like battling through the forest and fighting beasts and fire and grueling struggles. Although there may be grueling struggles, the grueling struggles, at least in terms of the outward bound experiences I've had and am aware of, are really internal. And I think that's where the opportunity here is. What if instead of like trying to be movie trailers, kind of language, this was internal dialogue, right? If we got to hear what someone was thinking, feeling, and discovered within themselves as they had an experience as part of an outward bound program, that would be really powerful and really cool. And it's probably even more relatable because we're all human. We all have kind of similar experiences. So I feel like the tagline, using repetitive words that are in the brand name, and the kind of misperception of what outward bound is, are potentially getting in the way here. I like the art direction. I like the trees. I like the simplicity. I think less type, a more clever, a different tagline, and rethinking maybe kind of your approach to how you write these could go a long way. Time's up. Okay, I'm going to keep going because just for a little bit more because I think there's stuff that I might be able to help with here down below. Let's see. Next stop, adventure, outward bound. Okay, cool. Could this be for any other travel brand? Could this be for an airline? Could this be for a car rental company? If the answer is yes in your mind, then maybe these aren't as strong as they could be. The best ads are the ones that almost could only be for the brand they're for, right? It's a high bar to set for yourself. I encourage you to aim for it. Next stop, nature. So it's sort of the same idea twice. Next stop, wilderness. Same. So this is sort of the same idea 3 times. And if you think about like next stop, wilderness, like let's just forget that that could possibly be for any kind of expedition fishing company, or whitewater rafting company. The choice to use illustrations of trees here weakens the idea now, right? It looked okay in the kind of print above, but now I want to see, like just, a couple ideas, like next stop, wilderness. What if it was an x-ray of a person's brain, right? And then the payoff was, explore the wilds of your mind and find new confidence in yourself, outward bound. That may or may not be great, but you see how it totally disrupts the expected imagery for a brand like this. And it talks about what they really do, which is that internal journey, right? So I feel like there's an opportunity here to really dial these up a bit more. Wanted. Yeah, this is sort of like the famous ad for Shackleton's recruitment ad when he was trying to get people to go with him on his ship to the North Pole and they got trapped in the ice. There's a very famous ad. This feels a bit like that. Passport. Can I click on that and see it bigger? No, I can click on it, but it doesn't get bigger. So this is a UX thing that you might want to look at. And again, anyone watching this, if you have things with small print, assume that people are going to want to read it. Otherwise, why did you put it there in the first place? So if I click on it to read it and it doesn't make it any bigger, that's annoying and not helpful. So Matt, I've gone over, sorry, Nick, not Matt, I apologize. I've gone over my 10 minutes here, and I've had a great time looking at your stuff. I did skim and look at some of the other things. I'm pretty certain that we could collaborate together and kind of transform your work and make your portfolio even more awesome and help you kind of launch pad, your career into the place and kind of jobs that I think that you probably would like to get. There's a lot of interesting potential here, and I would love to help you tap into it more and really discover what's possible. So that's going to wrap up my bronze review. Remember, it was pretty, it's short, it's sweet, it's hopefully helpful. It's one way. So if you want to have a conversation, like I said, maybe it's worth thinking about upgrading to a paid review. If you just watch this and you do want me to do a deeper dive and go through everything on your site, then a silver skillet review is probably an easy next step. If you just watch this and you have questions, or you feel like you want to explain some of your work or choices, or maybe even develop some ideas together, then the gold gull or titanium torch review levels are definitely the way forward. A silver skillet review will make your portfolio better, but the gold gull and titanium torch levels will also make you better, because we'll be collaborating. I'll give you creative coaching, and I'll help endow you with ideation tools and techniques that you'll probably end up using for the rest of your career. So I'll finish up by saying, if you do end up making changes and you want me to have another look before you share your portfolio with the world, I have a follow-up review that you can book for as well. So all that is on my website, eranthomson.com/reviews. So go there, check out, see what's on offer, decide what feels like a good fit for you, and hopefully we'll get to work together again soon. There's lots of ways we might be able to work together. And I invite you to check out the link and get more info and join the many, many, many people whose portfolios and careers I've managed to help improve. For everyone else watching, I hope you got something valuable out of this review of Nick Schaefer, copywriter's portfolio. Thanks for playing along, and whatever you do, don't forget to share your portfolio.